Macro Project, presented by Hope, Jackie, Cardarius, Tatiana, and Rebecca. Our group was partnered with Bingman Head Start, whose purpose is to provide a preschool experience for young children from low-income families. This school fully supports the role of parents in these experiences and offers a comprehensive program of education, health, nutrition, and social services in order to develop social competence in children, meet their needs, and enrich their lives. Bingman believes that children can develop their potential in a nurturing environment which fosters mutual respect and an appreciation for the uniqueness and capabilities of the individual. The primary goal of the program is to provide appropriate curriculum, experiences, and activities which facilitate the development of the whole child and provide support, assistance, and training to those who affect the child's development. Bingman's objective is to improve the self-esteem, health, and physical development of the child, to aid the child's reasoning, thinking, and speaking skills, to provide opportunities for positive interactions and successful experiences, to help the child and their family gain greater confidence, self-respect, and dignity, and to help the child obtain wider and more varied experiences and improve their understanding of the world around them. Goals of Bingman include increasing student academic achievement through long-term planning and innovation, ensuring a safe and secure school, attracting and retaining an outstanding workforce, improving school climate and student engagement, and increasing community collaboration.
Children in these subpopulations often share similar behavioral outcomes because they share a common experience: complex developmental trauma. In our case, it's young children from low-income families. The three main pillars of any program designed to treat complex trauma are development of safety, promotion of healing relationships, teaching of self-management, and coping skills. Adverse childhood experiences, or ACEs, are potentially traumatic events that occur in children 0 to 17 years. For example, experiencing violence, abuse, or neglect, witnessing violence in the home or community, or having a family member attempt or die by suicide. Also include are aspects of the child's environment that can undermine their sense of safety, stability, and bonding, such as growing up in a household with substance misuse, mental health problems, instability due to parental separation, or household members being in jail or prison. ACEs can have lasting negative effects on health, well-being, and opportunity. These experiences can increase the risk of injury, sexually transmitted infections, maternal and child health problems, teen pregnancy, involvement in sex trafficking, and a wide range of chronic diseases and leading causes of death, such as cancer, diabetes, heart disease, and suicide. ACEs and associated conditions, such as living in under-resourced or racially segregated neighborhoods, frequently moving, and experiencing food insecurity, can cause toxic stress, extended or prolonged stress. Toxic stress from ACEs can change brain development and affect such things as attention, decision-making, learning, and response to stress. Children growing up with toxic stress may have difficulty forming healthy and stable relationships. They may also have unstable work histories as adults and struggle with finances, jobs, and depression throughout life. These effects can be passed on to their own children. Some children may face further exposure to toxic stress from historical and ongoing traumas due to systematic racism or the impacts of poverty resulting from limited educational and economic opportunities.
Children, as the smallest and least powerful members of society, are the most vulnerable to trauma, including physical, sexual, and emotional trauma. If we can prevent violence, abuse, harassment, and bullying in a comprehensive manner, we can build a strong foundation for a safe place for students. Although trauma to children is complex, it is something that can be stopped. With education, we can prevent events from being as traumatic. Knowledge gives power. When the campus can learn to prevent abuse, neglect, and bullying, the safety of staff and students is enhanced. Educating staff on prevention and risk management increases ownership and collectively holds them responsible for keeping children safe. Risk is the chance that something might happen that will have a negative impact on the student, measured in terms of consequences and likelihood. Risk assessments measure and evaluate the potential for harmful behaviors. Once the risk is known, it can be managed through comprehensive risk management strategies. Students should receive education in regards to abuse, neglect, bullying, and harassment prevention. This education should be adapted to an age-appropriate level to promote the student's understanding and confidence to be safe. Students should be provided an understanding of their rights based from the Convention on the Rights of the Child, emotional, physical, sexual abuse and neglect, bullying, and harassment. Students should also be provided information in regards to prevention strategies to help keep them safe in the home, family, community, or on the internet. How and where to report abuse, bullying, and harassment. How to help a friend who is being abused, bullied, or harassed. Personnel should include all staff, including teachers, counselors, principals, janitors, lunch workers, interns, volunteers, etc., and they should receive education on the school's code of conduct, what violence, abuse, harassment, and bullying are, and how to prevent them, and how and to whom to report concerns. The organization's abuse, violence, bullying, and harassment policies.
TBRI is not a clinical model, but rather a caregiving model. Even without testing, TBRI can be used with optimally developing and with at-risk populations to improve overall outcomes. TBRI is a relationship-based model that can be administered by nurturing, insightful caregivers. TBRI appears to hold significant potential for creating a positive impact in the lives of children and youth who have come from hard places. Holistic in nature, cost-effective to implement, and developmentally respectful of the impact of trauma. The empowerment principle is attention to physical needs. Empowering principles address ecological needs of a child, external and environmental, physiological needs of a child, internal and physical. The connection principle is the attention to attachment needs. Connecting principles address relational needs, attachment needs, focusing on awareness, engagement, and attunement. The correction principle is the attention to behavior needs. Correcting principles teaches self-regulation, appropriate boundaries, and promote healthy behaviors for the caregiver and the child.
Main empowering principles. 1, safe and structured environment. This combats chronic fear, environments and relationships that are safe and predictable, and develops healthy emotions and behaviors that are trust-driven rather than fear-driven. The key ingredient is having smooth transitions. There's three types of transitions. There's daily transitions, major life transitions, and developmental transitions. The second empowering principle is sensory needs. Kids often develop sensory processing disorders. This comes in many different forms. Oral, which is when kids are picky eaters. Pressure, which is constantly breaking pencils or crayons. And sensory activities, sensory diets, which is daily schedules of activities, and sensory rooms help children organize their mental and emotional states. Third is nutrition. Certain foods provide building blocks for healthy brain chemistry. Histories of prenatal exposure to substance, significant changes in insulin receptor sites, making them subject to dramatic shifts in behavior when blood sugar drops. Hydration improves mental functioning, such as attention and memory performance. 4, the others are adequate sleep and regular physical activity. TBRI empowering principles meet children's basic physical needs and support healthy emotional, relational, and behavioral development. Main connecting principles. First, observational awareness. Observational awareness are nonverbal markers of anxiety and comfort level, such as heart rate and muscle tension. Second, self-awareness. Self-awareness is knowing your own emotional state, attachment style, and emotional availability. Third, skills of attachment is giving care and seeking care, feeling comfortable with yourself, and negotiation. Giving a voice is the foundation of developing trusting relationships. An example of this is asking a child who is misbehaving, can you tell me with your words and not your behavior? Fourth, playful engagement. Playful engagement produces warmth and trust between caregivers and children, such as fair play. Fifth, attunement is the capacity to bring into harmony or make aware of response. This can be done such as matching behaviors, eye contact, body position, safe touch, voice quality such as tone and volume, touch, which is a very powerful tool for nonverbal communication. TBRI connecting principles give caregiver tools to build trusting, secure attachment relationships with their children. Proactive behavioral strategies. Proactive behavioral strategies designed as preventative teaching measures consist of verbal reminders, behavioral rehearsals, role play with others or puppets, teaching life value terms, and demonstrations of role following and socially appropriate behaviors. An example is role playing involved practicing as a script. Life value terms help create a language and culture of mutual respect. Practice with life values provides children with tools to resolve issues appropriately in life situations. Life value terms include using respect, making eye contact, using words to replace negative behaviors, being gentle and kind, accepting consequences, accepting no, and asking permission. Responsive behavioral strategies challenges behavior is when challenging behaviors do occur. The caregiver guides to resolve problems through level of response and ideal approach. Level of response. Level 1, playful engagement, which is when you respond playfully. Level 2 is structured engagement. This may offer choices. Level 3, calming engagement. This gives a child a chance to do time in and think what they need while the adult is nearby. Level 3, protective engagement. This contains violence while remaining calm and reassuring. Levels are not intended as punishment, but rather as regulatory support. This diminishes the frequency, intensity, and duration of behavior by giving a voice for negotiation. Ideal response. The I in ideal is for immediately, responding immediately. The D in ideal is respond directly, which is through eye contact. The E in ideal is to respond in an efficient and measured manner, the least amount of firmness. The A in ideal is the response is action-based through real-life redos. The L in ideal is the level of the response. Never react to the child, never reject the child as a person, only respond to the behavior.
It can be very useful to build a trauma-informed workplace at Bingman Head Start. By being well informed on what trauma is and how it affects a child's ability to work, we get a better understanding on how to better accommodate that child's needs. TBRI implementation allows a structured way of identifying and eliminating stressors. As a result, some benefits of having a trauma-informed workplace include increased communication and uniformity. It promotes autonomy and self-determination. It's cost-effective and improves behavior. TBRI implemented in a workforce creates a uniform and standard way of addressing problems. This promotes communication with other professors. TBRI also allows children to identify and manage their emotions by implementing exercises and activities that give the child a voice and shows them healthy ways to address challenges. In doing so, this promotes autonomy and self-determination because it allows the child to be a part of the process of implementation, rather than blaming or categorizing them as just bad. TBRI is a strong tool to bridge the gap between a child and authority figures, and it makes it easier for the child to seek help when needed. Lastly, it's cost effective. Implementing TBRI in the workforce does not need to cost a thing, because you can simply just make a child feel included and important by acknowledging them by name, creating a special way to greet them in the morning, and really honing in on what emotions they are battling at the moment. When schools are trauma-informed, students cultivate lasting resilience, leading to significant improvements in behavior, fewer suspensions, fewer expulsions, and significant improvements in academic achievement. It promotes feelings of physical, social, and emotional safety in students, a shared understanding among staff about the impact of trauma and adversity on students, positive and culturally responsive discipline policies and practices, access to comprehensive school mental and behavioral health services, and effective community collaboration. Among these benefits, there are plenty more. Trauma-informed workforce promotes children to be more confident in dealing with vulnerability. It allows staff to be able to spot at-risk children and respond appropriately at their earliest opportunity. And it stresses the importance of building resilience, safety, trustworthiness, choice, collaboration, and empowerment. We will be proposing the TBRI implementation to Bingman Head Start through a logic model. A logic model is a schematic representation of the various components that make up a social service program. This includes the assumptions underlying the program inputs, activities, outputs, and outcomes. In other words, a logic model is simply a chart of the different components that go into a program. There is no single logic model design, and the categories you choose to include often depend on the purpose for the logic model. One, it spurs success. Positive psychology research reveals that when humans mindfully focus on the potential to achieve what we set out to achieve, we become more intentionally engaged in what we do. This will give clarity of intentional promises, which lead to taking intentional actions, which then lead more likely to intentional results. 2, it saves time and money. Going after a grant can cost organizations hours of staff resources. Winning the wrong grant can also cost organizations years of wasted activities and efforts that have nothing to do with the organization's missions. A logic model provides a guide for current and future program planning. 3, it helps raise money. A thorough, simple logic model will prove invaluable to development officers and grant writers. It clearly communicates that there is a goal of the organization set in place and what the organization does now. A logic model provides evidence that the organization is strategic in how it uses its resources. 4, its foundation of evaluation efforts. The logic model provides the framework for selecting the ideal success measures for an organization. It is neither possible nor necessary to measure all of an organization's outputs and outcomes. A logic model provides a measure of confidence for leaders who want to quantify their organization's story, guiding the process for selecting success, measure, and capturing data that illustrates the organization's impact. Lastly, 5, it's a sign of high performance. Grant makers, donors, and co-collaborators want to invest in and partner with organizations who have proven track record of fiscal accountability, effective programs, and outstanding services.
The 5 baselines of Bingman Head Start. Upon initial assessment with Bingman Head Start, we noticed that there is no current theory or standard of practice that guides the campus's approach to handling stressful situations. There is not enough support from administrators or leadership. There's a lack of training for staff, which has led to staff being uncomfortable with how to implement TBRI and staff not being interested in implementing TBRI.
The logic model is a TBRI tool that displays a new set of steps in planning for the inputs and outputs in schools or institutions. Throughout this presentation, we show the viewer just how we implement TBRI tools into Bingman Elementary. We cover childhood trauma, vulnerable youth, various principles, and a logic model to provide detailed steps to successfully implement the TBRI practices.